Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted GM, Brian, welcoming you once again to another episode of our Dragon's Demand. And with me, I have a special guest helping to intro us in.
Chris, also known as Stabby.
Stabby. Well, what we have tonight is we've got a special episode. We are not doing an actual playthrough. In fact, what we are doing is called the
After Action Report, Part 1.
Part 1. And this is a new venue that we're going to start running every 3-4 episodes as kind of a recap of the previous episodes. So in case they're too long, didn't listen, or maybe your YouTube channel shut down, or for whatever reason, you can listen to this one episode and kind of get caught up on the hijinks of our Hard Slingers. In case you're wondering how to reach out to the Hard Slingers, Chris, you got a website where maybe we can get in touch with us?
You can reach us at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com. And
Yep.
don't forget about our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast.
Yep. For as little as $1, you too can help us keep the lights on. Otherwise, it will look like this or this. I know you can't hear it in a podcast app, which brings me to my next segue. Please, on whatever podcast app you happen to listen to the show on, it really helps if you leave us that 5-star rating and review. I know it doesn't seem like much, but just recently I was going through the Apple podcasts of our show, and I was looking at the reviews, and I got to hand it to each and every one of you guys out there that have written in an awesome 5-star review for us. And I can't thank you enough. I know I see it out there on the Google podcasts. I know on Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeart Radio, even on Amazon podcasts, that people are leaving these awesome reviews that they really, really like the show. And it encourages us to bring more material to you. Don't forget to check us out on any one of our social media footprints. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Pretty soon, Chris is going to put together an OnlyFans for us. So you'll see Stabby in all of his ghetto thong. So keep an eye out for that too. Until now, let's go ahead and warm up our dice and top off our glass as Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents episode 29 of our Dragon's Demand run through, the After Action Report, Part 1. Enjoy.
So I've been going through the last couple days and just kind of getting my head around Hero Lab. And it's kind of cool because it will actually guide you through the character creation.
Yeah, it actually tells you where you forgot to fill out information, right?
Yeah, it's really cool because I was filling
Always
out,
on the fucking ball, Junior. Always.
so I was filling out all my traits or feats. I can't remember which one.
I think it's probably feats.
Yeah, and if you put too many points into it, it'll actually validate and it'll turn that feat red and say, you can only do up to the total number of hit dice for that level.
Okay.
So if I try to put, 3 points into acrobatics, it's going to say, nope.
Well, I think what I'll probably do is I'll subscribe to it probably this week, and I'll import the core book as well as
That's what I did for mine with the subscription of it. I think it's I did a 6-month, and then I did the download of the player handbook.
Yeah,
which was
I thought you were going to say, then I downloaded the Dragon's Demand run through and just to make sure where we're going against.
Well, I think they had different packets that you could buy that allowed that to be used into Hero Lab.
Yeah,
so
I
if
saw
it's
that.
like a campaign specific type spell or creature or item, you can buy the package and then it adds it to Hero Lab.
My only concern is I don't know if I'd be able to run Hero Lab while I'm running the other stuff, because I'm looking at, I guess it's kind of moot because when I'm looking at you guys as we're playing, I'm actually looking at my own shit.
Yeah.
As we start describing things, but I like to make digital eye contact with you guys.
Look into my eyes.
Look into my virtual eye of destiny.
That reminds me of role models. tell her that her whispering eye.
Oh yeah.
Her whispering eye. Have you not seen
What is-
role models, Brian?
I guess I haven't. No.
Oh,
What does that mean? It means her vagina.
yeah. So there's this, it's who is it? Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott, Stifler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they end up getting community service because they're really, they either go to jail or do this community service. And they hook up with these two kids that are like, they're a handful. And one of them is like totally into LARP, live action role
Yeah.
play. And the rest of the movie is like centered around the LARPing. And it's cool, man.
I'll have to check
movie
that
is-
out. That sounds like a movie I think we would all sit down and really enjoy.
It's very funny.
I was editing out the episodes last night, in fact, and it was so long. You listen to me, Ryan? It was so long that I had to make two of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
Like
I was able to.
almost 2 hours of
Yeah, it was an hour
material.
and 51 minutes, and then after I had did the intros and stuff, I think the first episode came in just under an hour, and the other one was like at 106. So it was like perfect.
fuck.
Boom, boom. And I figured that this would be a great opportunity at that point to say, okay, we finally did what we accomplished. Now we could do what we're going to do tonight. So how you doing, Nick?
Doing all right? How you doing?
Yeah, doing well, doing well.
Your Nick.
So is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just
Just.
I don't even have my
Just-
dice next to me. Shit.
I have mine. They're just not even out.
No, we don't need them anyway. So
Threw
Well,
a handful on the table.
yeah. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is your trusted GM, Brian, and with me, my hard slingers.
Yeah.
So we just finished wrapping up not just episode 27, but as I was explaining to the other guys, 27 and 28, because the episode was so long that we were able to make 2 episodes out of it. But that's really not going to diminish from tonight, and this isn't going to be in the rolling for 20 category. We're actually going to use this as part of our canonical Dragon's Demand run through. We're in episode 29 tonight. Basically what we'll do is we'll talk about like an after action report, like what we did with the what we did with the Delta Green run throughs, how we get together afterwards and we talk about it. So we'll do the same thing with this, only we'll try to make it more frequently, other than not one every 30 episodes. We'll try to engage people, so if it's too long, didn't listen or whatever, they have the opportunity of getting together and listening to like a brief run through of like the last 3 or 4 episodes, kind of like a condensed version. So yeah, you guys came to a resolution with the Blood Vow Lair. You guys hunted down and took care of Big Chief Roguehaz. How you guys feel about that?
I'm shocked, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that we made it through.
I'm relieved
Yeah.
that it's done.
That last fight was a little. Oof.
It's so funny because Ryan, your character Warren is like always either on point and just force bashing people's face in and then catching their hair on fire, or like you just take a dirt nap. Just-
I mean,
but you deliver some serious damage.
well, it's what warlocks do. I mean, in 5e, the way warlocks are built is they're kind of all or nothing. There's not a lot in between.
They're showers, not
So.
growers.
Yeah, you want something on your face there?
Oh shit! I've already had to like change the rating of the last episode, so I don't know if we can do it again, but we're gonna do it again.
I think probably one of my most favorite moments of that last episode, or the last run through, is when Ryan moved up and basically said, fuck it, I'm going forward, I'm going around the boulder, because he knew either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna go out fighting. That was an epic move.
Well, I liked how he didn't metagame it either, because I think he knew immediately that he had that Roguehas had casted mirror image, like right out of the gate. So, but he didn't let that. He didn't metagame it. But I want to get to this at some, as we go through this. But I want to start from the beginning of the AP. One of the things I wanted to say was this is actually the first AP that we produced that did not include Eric. Tragically, it was also the first AP that we ran, which was 100% remote. It wasn't about, okay, we're going to do this for so long and then we're going to get back in the rage room. It was, we kind of, the writing was on the wall how we were going to do this, especially with Chris being part of the group as well. It was 100% Zoom at this point. And I thought we still do a pretty good job. I think our audio quality has gotten immensely better. I know that it was like a new learning curve again, the way how we did it at the table. Now it's like, okay, how's the mics doing, how's the cameras doing? We're not doing Skype anymore. Now we're doing Zoom, we're doing all these other things. But I think it sounds very good. I've heard the playbacks even on podcast apps to make sure it's still populated and everything's good to go, but it sounds good. So
yeah, under the circumstances that we've been given, I mean, in the short amount of time, we've kind of dialed it down to getting it, right and tuned.
Yeah,
where everything sounds great.
I think that your mic is like my mic, and Chris has got the most high-end mic that they probably used in the NASA space program, and Ryan
send whispers to space.
Nick finally got a new can of Del Monte that he could speak into. But it was also tragically, this is the AP where we say goodbye to Koosh. He was with us for I think 12 episodes, but you know what? It was also the AP that saw, through good fortune, the arrival of Ryan in episode 9. And I think that, like I said, it really rounded out the playlist, and you guys are dynamite to listen to and to watch you guys, play off of each other and, reverberate back and forth. I really like how you guys interact with one another, especially Stabby and Warren, the way you guys just like a bunch of old gray hens that are the final survivors on the bus leading you to the resting home.
What are the names of those two Muppets, Waldorf and freaking, oh God,
You talking about the old men that are in the puppet theater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a interesting visual.
Well, it started off in episode 1 where you guys were escorting a caravan for the human trafficker Silas Gribb, if you remember, to the town of Belhaim, where you were thrown into a whirlwind of intrigue when the witch tower collapsed, causing you guys to go and investigate. And at the time, obviously, Koosh was with us, and then as you and the rest of the townspeople gathered together, it was the Baroness Devi who basically accosted you and charged you with going into the tower and finding out what happened and all the things that evolved from there, you guys. And that took quite a few episodes for you guys to get through, and you even found in episode 9 stranger danger when you found Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting. I don't think any of us saw that coming.
No, and I mean, Ryan and I, we had spoke about it, how we were going to introduce this character, and I didn't want him just to be some, goofball in the town, with the rest of the guys holding a ladder or a shovel or a pitchfork. He came up with a really ingenious idea of not only being in the tower, but being encased in that ring and from a completely different time, which is pretty cool. I mean, it lends credence to the town of Belhaim and the history of it, and that he has some knowledge of everything that happened in the past. And it even kind of curbed the AP a little too, because I don't think anybody was really supposed to know what happened in the past, but it was able for me to give you guys information to help feed you along as well. So
if I remember correctly, we actually made some coin off of that too.
Yeah.
We were able to take a little bit of treasure that was there in order to buy some of the gear that we got in town before actually heading to the where the Cabals were at.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
some
Quarry.
jingle out of the cage, and
Speaking of making coin off of Warren, it was something I looked back on that I think I like would have played it the same thing, but on the other hand, so in 5e for the type of warlock that Warren is, he actually could. There was that alchemist who wanted his ring in exchange for like a bunch of healing potions and stuff. Warren could have actually given him that ring and then gone and sat down somewhere for like 8 hours and done a ritual to recreate the ring, and then the old one would have lost its power.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
that's
like
right.
steal it
When
back.
you guys were roaming around in the town.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was when you actually met up with what was his name? Gregor Lenton at the Grey Hands Tavern.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I
And
don't
then there was
mind.
the whole like
You're gonna finish that
tavern
off.
episode.
I could use the swill off that. Tastes
Definitely
like
not
sweat,
above
but
it.
I ain't above look at the bottom of this glass, but top me off.
Yeah, I like the introducing Warren into the group, at the beginning of the AP is interesting because I think, at least for me, I was role playing very standoffish of Warren. He had started in with the party, and I wasn't quite sure what and who Warren was. So I was trying to role play that, with Stabby, that we've got to get some time to know this guy. But man, ever since we picked him up, we have been just like
In trouble.
in trouble, man, going through it. So
I've been taking damage ever since this guy joined us.
Like, why am I so nice to this guy? Why do we keep him around?
Maybe he's a bad talesman. Let's change this up. Change up the dynamics.
Yeah.
But,
So I'm looking forward to more of the interaction as we progress through the rest of the AP. Now that we've had some time to be on the front line with Warren, we kind of get to see what he's made of and what his motivations are. That, now
Blowing people up,
yeah,
blowing kobolds up.
well,
Right.
that too. But I think he's interested in the well-being of the group and our
yeah,
success.
he's invested because
Yep.
you're serving a purpose for him, though.
Yes, exactly. So here's the thing that hasn't really gone for it. So I'm gonna spill a little on like Warren's motivation. Warren is totally Warren is aristocracy. Warren is totally of the mind of you treat the populace well and you get to keep your position.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember back when Koosh was playing in the Riders on the Storm. Remember, he was kind of mischievous to the point where he was ready to leave people behind, like just to take what he needed and bail. And or was that in Carrying Crown? I can't remember which AP he was playing that like that, but he was like, yeah, he's basically using the party to get what he needs and then sacrifice the party. And I think it was Riders on the Storm because he wanted to go through the gate. He didn't want to. In fact, he did.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember? Yeah, he just jumped through the gate and went back in time and left you guys holding the fucking bag. And I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's very interesting seeing that whole thing play out like that. And I still never released the epilogue episode to that because we didn't keep it going. I thought that, well, if we keep it going, then I would have released it. We could have kept going from there. But yeah, he's just tragedy strikes. But anyways, back on this AP, after you guys had cleared out the collapsed tower, through your progress is when you found that dead wizard Hunclay in the like the lower area, and you found a couple keys on him and stuff like that, and you were able to find the location of where those kobolds had actually collapsed the tower, and then you knew what had caused all this. It was these kobolds had done this, and then that started the whole string of reporting back to the Baroness and letting her know, and then again she tasked you guys with going and dealing with the Blood Vow Lair. Of course, you took a slight detour for a while to Hunclay's Manor.
Oh, Warren's going back there.
I hope so, because I wrote up a bunch of shit for that place. So you're gonna go, tough guy.
Yeah, I think we just ran out of time.
For Hunclay's Manor. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
had to deal with the Kabul threat.
Yeah.
With it at that moment, and you guys were just burning down the clock, and just I think everybody kept watching the sun and like, we got to get our asses back to the quarry and deal with these guys. But even then, as I recollect, when you guys got back to the quarry and dealt with the guards out front and slowly started making your way through, and then the big dire rats, and then the slaves and stuff, it just, I could completely remember all of those things.
Yeah, we got our asses kicked a lot going through the whole
and
thing.
I wasn't sure what you guys were going to do when you got to Nighttail, because I wasn't sure if you guys were just going to wipe him out or leave him behind on the upper deck as you guys descended further, or coax him to coming down with you, but you guys managed to create a good rapport with him to entice him to keep going. And as the person that was running him, I could see no reason to keep him back. What he wanted to do, you guys were giving him that assurance that could be possible if he kept his word.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really curious what's going to happen when we tell the Baroness that there were some kobolds that we did let go on the condition that they would either A, come to an amiable agreement, or B, they would leave.
Yeah, and that's something else that'll be threaded through, because you left behind the Guardians of the Future with that big albino frog guarding these like couple hundred eggs with Nighttail. And I don't think you guys really let anybody else survive. I think you pretty much annihilated that entire tribe. So
natural selection.
Spoilers. Spoilers at this point.
It'd be interesting to see the threat if Nighttail returns, see that it paid off some way.
Well, I think I was explaining to Ryan and Chris before you jumped on that this AP only goes to level 6. So even though we're going to be jumping onto the Pathfinder mechanics and everything, you won't be in them that long. At least you're starting off at an earlier level, so you'll be able to get through that. But I don't know what we're going to see. I mean, I've read it, so I kind of get an idea, but I'm not going to tell you anything. But it'd be interesting to see which directions things go based on your own choices, which is something I've always wanted you guys to do. Is even though you were supposed to go to the Blood Vow lair and you detoured to Hunclay's Manor, it's like, well, I'm not going to say you got to go that way. Well, let's go to the manor. I've tried to prepare enough to at least get through the things we're doing, and you guys have done a remarkable job of
derailing you.
Well, I was going to say reading the signs of my eyes, like, but yeah, coming back to point and even derailing me, but it's a good exercise of the mind. I can't wait for Ryan to run something so we could just needle his ass when he's on that side of the screen.
Oh, I roll with it. I'm like, okay, does this make sense? Is it cool? Awesome, let's do it.
I'm all for that too. We're trying to play to a good audience, people that like listening to us. By the way, I saved a screenshot of an email I got. I don't know if this is true or not. I didn't open it, but it was kind of funny. Let's see if I can find it again. Let's see here.
I get those glasses on.
Right. I've got to. It's from info@chartable.com podcast. It says, congratulations. Roll the Hard 20 podcast is now ranked number 242 on the Apple Podcast hobby chart in Sweden.
All right.
It's Sweden right here. So it's Sweden, man. So I was like, cool. Those crazy Swedes.
That's awesome.
They gotta love
sweet
us.
Love.
Sweet love. Yeah, definitely. So I was really happy to see that this morning.
So
I didn't click the link.
Thank you to
though.
everyone in Sweden.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think it said something about Stitcher and Spotify, and that we could check all these things through that info.chartpodcast.com or whatever it is, and you could see how you're doing or whatever, which I think is kind of neat, but I don't trust myself to click the link yet so I learn more about them.
That's right. You don't even like opening some of the text messages I send you.
I don't. GIF alert. But basically, I think some of the things that we are also going to talk about is that where we're going to go with the show also, outside of the Dragons to Ban run through. Ryan said you're going to try to put together a 5e AP that we're going to run at some point, because we're migrating to the Pathfinder. So for all you fellow slingers out there that still like the 5e love, we'll still be delivering that via one of the best DMs I've ever listened to. Ryan, that's you. And
you
pick together,
get your ears checked, but thank you.
Right.
I'll take it and run.
He'll be putting together something, and we'll probably be doing it in blocks, though, not just in hour intervals like we do, but in like a larger block on one Sunday every couple weeks or something like that, where all the schedules work together, all the stars align, so that we could have more to put together and put out. So, and I like things that put out.
It's always a bonus.
But
what? I'm sorry. What were you complaining about changing the rating of like the
it's too late,
podcast?
man. We've got an audience we have to appease. It's not me, it's the audience gods that we got to give love to. So but basically, yeah, I mean, who else has some stuff to add to this awesome panel that we're running right now?
I almost wish we weren't spending as much time in combat. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's true. I don't like a lot of combat, and I think that because the AP is so short, I think that they pocket the scenarios of combat.
Yep.
But I think you're going to see now coming out of it that you'll be dealing with more role play as well.
Well, also too is like we spent like what 4 or 5 different episodes like completely in town. There's no combat in any of that.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
There's a lot of shopping.
Yeah, I mean, we spent like certainly more than that in the actual mines dealing with kobolds, but
there's the kobold.
We left one behind.
Kill it. Roll for initiative.
That's right. No, but I mean, there's the choice to have stayed in combat was yours, just like the choice to remain in town was yours. You could have just gone back to town and did whatever you wanted to do for, say, 15 minutes and then move on. But you guys wanted to learn more stuff, which is totally awesome, because, I mean, there was a time that this map of Belhaim never left my computer. It stood out here with where everybody's located and all the people that you wanted to talk to and get your armor fixed, get more weapons, get your climbing gear, just things like that. You wanted to chase down these leads and that leads and go to the alchemist. And I thought that was really kind of cool. You know, it's just wherever you guys felt like this thing would take you, you were never inhibited by somebody saying, well, you can't go there. There's an invisible wall, you know, and you guys stayed there and got the information that you wanted, which is super cool. Just like when you were in the lair, I was fully expecting that at some point you guys were going to leave the lair and then go back into the lair.
Oh,
I'm sure that's crossed all our minds at one point.
yeah.
More
Like,
than
I know,
once.
like I'm sure freaking Flint and Warren less so because of the nature of warlock spells, but I'm sure Flint was looking at his spell slots going,
Well, I think even towards the very end, when Sirkin got just cooked alive in that hallway, at that point, it's just like, dude, how many more rooms are there in this fucking place? You know, we've got to be getting close to it. And it's not a matter of like, haha, I won the game. No, it's like, we're going to find this fucking guy and I'm going to wear his head as a crown. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, we had such good momentum going through. I mean, we were wiping people out. The only thing that really gave our position that we were right there was that that device that went off as
That was
soon as
it,
Flint
actually. If you
That gave
hadn't
him the heads
tripped
up.
that, they wouldn't have known you were there. You could have made your stealth check, but because that obviously went off, it's like a fireball going off in my hallway and me just ignoring it. You know, you
Yeah.
just no, it went off. You know, and I think that some of the other another tough combat was when you guys went down to the first level, you know, the first sub level, and you got in trouble with that snapper turtle. Those two
You
snapper
mean,
turtles.
I was gonna say multiple snapper turtles.
Yeah, there were.
Poor Sirkin.
I mean,
Yeah, the
it
one
just
that dragged me down.
just watching you guys and then you see Flint just hiding out in that little alcove, just
Sucking
taking
on the
nips
wand.
off that wand.
Oh my god, that wand. It's the only reason we got.
I
through
know,
that
and
place.
that's
Yeah,
definitely the saving grace.
and I'll give it to Paizo for their APs. They put a lot of stuff in there that can accentuate things, that can help you guys get through certain things. You know, it always behooves you to loot the bodies or to check things out. You know, to don't not leave doors, you know, uninvestigated. You want to go and check things out because they've always got wands, they've got swords, they've got cloaks, they've got all kinds of different stuff that you almost think that right when you're going to run out of juice, you come across a cache of healing potions or something. you know?
Man, they just leave you on the edge. First one's free, you know.
Yeah.
Then you're looting dead bodies trying to score.
I think even
Right.
Nighttail had a bunch of stuff. He had like 2 healing potions. He had a
Sterd
potion.
knew he was holding out.
Well, he gave them out though, and he
Oh,
had a
yeah.
potion of invisibility, which he used to deal with the
The wizard lady.
Shiguri. Yeah, to deal with Shiguri, and or Shiguri. I forgot how to pronounce her name.
It doesn't matter. Her head's been.
Yeah, right. And of course, he had the armor, and he had that dagger, which he gave to Stubby. So, which we could follow up on your storyline at some point. And but you really didn't investigate that servant very well. So I was kind of shocked about that.
He also gave the wand of entanglement.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sorry, I felt like something was crawling on my leg for a moment there, and I don't want to look 'cause it's dark down there.
It's a gator.
Yeah, baby gator.
What'd you get for being in Florida?
Dude, I tell you, it's crazy. We got an alligator that lives in the pond out in front. Like it's
Oh,
at the gated
really?
community. There's a pond. Yeah. So I took a picture of this guy. I guess everyone in the neighborhood calls this dude Little G.
The gator or
Yeah, the gator.
oh okay.
I thought I showed you that picture, didn't I, Junior? Or no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Anyways, there
Little
he
G.
is, Little G.
Oh, look
That
at
is
him.
not so little. That is a big fucking G.
He's probably like 6 feet long, but I've seen ones that are like in the outer ponds that are like 10 feet long. I mean, these things, you don't want to be smoking crack naked down at the bank, at the bank at 2 o'clock in the morning, because they'll take you, just drag you in, be wearing you. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to the other portions of this adventure path. I don't need to digress with pictures of alligators and all that other happy crippy. Nick, how you doing?
Doing good. Just kind of reflecting on what we've gone through in the past like 30 episodes. Then yeah, trying to look forward to what could possibly happen in the future. I know that for Sirkin, he's a ranger, so doing like dungeon crawls is probably not like the best thing for him, but having those range attacks was obviously very helpful to kind of keep the space between. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the AP so far.
And not as a spoiler, but you're going to probably be getting into some outside stuff as well as you keep going through this AP. I think once you get out of all the places and actually start getting out into the wilderness, I think that you'll see that it'll probably benefit you for what your character is. So
Right.
But
So
I
that'll
think
be cool.
5e Rangers are already kind of a little underpowered for some reason.
Oh, you haven't looked at what
Look at
happens
the-
with Rangers and Tasha's.
No, I
So
haven't
it-
because I haven't built one from there. I played one from the original player's handbook, and it was he died on the last day of our last campaign. He died,
Oh
but it
my
was
God.
glorious though. I was laughing.
No, there's a couple of like awesome options in for Rangers in Tasha's, and so they swap out some of the kind of more underpowered features for features that are still in that vein but are much more universal. And then they've got two archetypes that are really freaking cool. One of them's a Swarm Keeper, which it's like think Lord of the Flies, like you could go like super kind of like dark and swampy, and it's like you control like this massive insects. Like the Ranger actually gets the Mage Hand spell, only the Mage Hand is like a mass of whatever their swarm is.
Right.
Then there's I'm forgetting the name, but it's like a Fey Ranger basically. And at some of the higher levels they can like actually summon Fey to help them. So,
Well, yeah, have you made a determination which AP you're planning on running, or is that still kind of up in the air right now?
it's still kind of a little up in the air. I have been wanting to run, as I have mentioned to you, Descent into Avernus, which is new-ish, but has been out for a little while. I'm also kind of curious, and if any of our listeners have a preference on what they would love to see run, the new, the Wild Beyond Witchlight, the new one that just came out from Wizards. Yeah, let's see, what is it? It is the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So,
is that a compilation of a bunch of stories, or is that one whole AP?
Nope. It's one whole like campaign module. Let me see, does it give a level range? It does not.
Well, we'll pick up on that minutia at some point.
Yeah, but also too, if like people have suggestions of campaigns they'd be interested in for 5e, they'd be interested in seeing run, please write in. What's the email address we use, Brian?
rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com. Or you could drop me a line at the website itself at rollthehard20podcast.com. Just drop me a line. Also,
DM me on Instagram.
That's right. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me on OnlyFans. No, just kidding.
Not kidding.
No, not kidding. I'm kidding. But made me lose my train of thought. I was going to say, we're happy to try out any system. The only stipulation, it's got to have a D20. Somebody asked me about that. Why does it have to have a D20? I'm like, dude, the show.
Duh.
Duh.
Color.
And then what does it mean to roll a hard 20? I just give them the hand. I'm done. Out.
Well, I'm excited to see what everyone's characters can do after changing into Pathfinder, because there's a lot more different things that a cleric can do on Pathfinder than he was able to do at D&D.
Yeah, I'm kind
5e.
of curious to see how that plays out against the NPCs as well as the any monsters you guys that you will come across, I should say, because it's I look at the monster stat blocks and they're not anything to blink at, and I can only imagine what the players are going to be like, what your characters will be like, because I know that they're just got all this buku shit going on. So I can't hear you, Chris.
There's so many different things you can do with a Pathfinder character. It's just you have this huge bag of tricks, so to speak, that you can really change the way that combat or really anything happens in a Pathfinder world. So
Yeah.
really got to pay attention.
they make their characters very heroic, for lack of a better term. Like you feel like a hero.
Yeah, especially when you start breaking down particular feats and traits and stuff. It's like, all right, there's some options to work here with. It's like, all right, I got some points to maybe put into this or into that.
Yeah.
Okay, I've mentioned to everyone that, my preference is in general 5e, and it is what I know a lot better than Pathfinder, but I find it fascinating that you guys don't feel quite as much that way for 5e.
I liked 5e, and it served a purpose, and it still does. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the show was built on catering to the 5e audience. I just want to start showing some of the Pathfinder listeners some love as well.
Absolutely.
Without ostracizing anybody. That includes not ostracizing 5e, Starfinder, Delta Green, basic D&D, none of that stuff. I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm not picking sides. I don't edition bash. I don't system bash. I like them all. I mean, every one of them has something out there. Even 4th edition, I know a lot of people looked at that as like the redheaded stepchild, which I think I enjoyed it immensely once I got into it. I know that just like any system, I think that the wheels start wobbling when you get in higher levels, because you start getting into a lot more options. Things start taking a little longer, and I think people don't realize that the streamline that occurred back in the 80s with basic D&D or even advanced D&D kind of gets lost. I know that the combat back then was much quicker because there were a lot less options other than the homebrew stuff that people would put into their games. And that's just that's an evolution. It's like saying, well, my old Chevy Caprice did what it needed to do back in the 80s, but now I got a car that's got nav and it's got satellite radio, and I got a computer for every window motor and every door lock and stuff. It's a lot more stuff, but it's the creature comforts that people want, and they wouldn't have put them in the games if people weren't hearkening for them in previous editions. So doesn't mean you can't drive that Caprice even now. I mean, you could always go back, put gas in it, change the oil, take it out. It's the same thing with everything else. All these other systems that I have on the shelves, I like them all. I've read a good majority of them from front to rear. There's just so many of them, but they all bring something to the table, which I think is awesome. So,
agree.
Looking forward to the next episodes and what we encounter as we leave the lair.
I think it's going to be hilarious.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Well, at this point, like I said, you guys have leveled up to level 3, where you decide to take your rest, whether you want to do it in Rogue Haz's area or you want to just expedite yourself having left the lair and do it someplace else, or come back to the Baroness, just beat the shit and then take a rest after you deal with her. However you guys want to do it, private message me and let me know what you guys decide, how you want to
handle it,
how you guys want to level up, where you guys want to do it at. If you guys want to rest in there, you want to rest outside, or rest in the inn, just let me know, and we will
Warren
make that.
Can actually, no, he can't stay in there long enough. Never mind. I was gonna say Warren can go rest in his ring, but
oh, aren't you fancy?
That's a tight ring, isn't
fancy.
it? Oh, shit.
Oh, all right, definitely changing the rating,
Dude. I remember when Ryan first started with this, I'm like, come on, babe, let's do this. He's like, you don't have to call me babe. You don't know me that well. Now we're like, come on, babe, let's do this. Like, right on. We're tight. I love it. All right, guys. Well, I think that we've got enough for this, and can't wait to edit it out and make it happen. And what can I say? Love the group, love the dynamics, and I want to see us finish this thing off, and we will. I think we're about close to halfway through already. So,
only another, 29 episodes to go.
Shit, who knows? You guys been falling through this thing, so we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
Say good night, one and all.
Good night,
Night.
one and
All
all.
right, one and all.